Hello, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this series of afternoon online events organized by Graphic Days on occasion of Eyes on the Netherlands. Graphic Days is a visual design festival based in Turin, and this year we have collaborated with Graphic Matters, the Embassy, and the Consulates of the Netherlands in Italy in order to bring to Turin the best of Dutch visual design and organize an event entirely dedicated to the Dutch visual design and communication scene. So we have contacted number of design studios, artists, and design professionals who have already collaborated with Graphic Days for the previous editions. So, for example, we are going to have some special events organized by Studio Dumbar, Trapped in Suburbia, and others. And today we have another online event, a little bit different from the other events, but it's just as interesting and exciting as you can imagine. We are going to have a session of handwriting and hand lettering organized by a collective High and Type. It's a collective of 6 members, but today 3 of them, Vincent and Guido and Hans Schuttenbelt, are going to show us how they connect letterforms and the artistic expression and present a little bit their practice. So I'm happy to introduce the guys from High and Type, and I'm going to tune in later. If you have any questions, you are free to ask them in the chat, and then we are going to have a couple of minutes at the end of this performance in order to have a more intimate moment with a High and Type later. So welcome.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Thank you very much, Xenia, for the introduction. And thank you all for showing up, for being here online, joining us on this afternoon. We are actually very excited to participate in this Eyes on the Netherlands event. We're super happy, to be here. Well, actually, I am in my own studio, but it feels like we're in Torino at the moment, so that's good. I'm Guido de Boer.
My name is Hans Schuttenbelt. I'm Vincent.
And with the 3 of us, we're a part of the High and Type collective. Like Xenia said before, we consist of more members, but they unfortunately couldn't join today, and they would also not even fit in the screen. So that's why we're with 3 persons. First we want to explain a little tiny bit about ourselves, and then we jump into the performance. So I want to ask Vincent, maybe you can share with the people the story how we actually met.
Well, Guido and I met quite early in our lives because we are twin brothers, actually triplets. And a few years after I graduated from the art school, I met Hans. He was applying for an internship at my design studio by then. And right after that, we had one of the first High on Type calligraphy workshops, and Hans attended as an attendee. And it was quite obvious that he was on the wrong side of the table because he was already immensely good in calligraphy, and I admired him directly for that. And then it was not long after that we invited him to High and Type.
Yeah, and I think in the same way we also met other people around us. At some point we also met Julien Prier, and we figured out that all of us, we have some shared interests, and to dive into that a little bit more, what connected us was on one hand an interest in the calligraphy, and calligraphy, both its history but also its principles, and we were all very interested in the potentials of calligraphy in a contemporary context. So yeah, because if we talk about calligraphy, people say, that's what my grandmother does. But actually, we all believe in that calligraphy also plays a very important role in today, but also for tomorrow. And from that idea of, okay, what can calligraphy be in a contemporary context, we to figure that out, we experiment and play a lot, and that directly touches the thematic of today's presentation, which we call the collective playground. And we want to show, or first talk a little bit about how do we understand the collective and what do we mean if we talk about a playground. And hopefully for the last 30 minutes or so, we are gonna perform playing one of the games that we really like, in order to also show that part.
Yeah, so
how do we understand the collective?
Yeah, I think the best metaphor which you came up with actually is...
No, we got it at some point in Italy as a feedback, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, but the metaphor is that we see our collective a little bit like, for instance, a jazz band, where everybody, every individual member of the band brings qualities to the stage, let's say. So instruments, rhythm, melodies, composition, all kinds of stuff. And then you jam together. So you freestyle, you do whatever you like, and then something pops up. So I think that's what we want with our collective. That's what we do with our collective, because we strongly believe that 1 + 1 is not 2, but can be 3 or even 5. You know. So we want to share a few projects we did, which are also a good metaphor for the jazz band. So if we continue in this metaphor, then I would say the next few examples are our studio albums, and then we jump to the performances and the festivals. Let's share you this presentation. Here we go. So in the metaphor of the jazz band, this would definitely be our first studio album. This is a booklet we made together. And what we basically did was we locked ourselves up in a studio building. And from there, we tried to make as much alphabets as possible.
Yeah, so actually they're all jams. Yeah, in a sense, and we play, and everything, of course, is directly recorded because we're visual artists. So yeah, you have the visual outcome, and after a couple of days of playing together and challenging each other, we selected the tunes or the images, how you want to understand it, and combine them to publication.
So what I'm showing you right now is the second zine, alphabet zine we did. And if you see a look at these numbers, it was 1 week with 4 of our collective. So the 3 of us together with Julien Prias. We had some guests. We were in a bunker. We made a lot of alphabets, which we selected 50 from, and we made this zine. And I think what really shows in this example is that we really like to play games because High on Type is our playground. So, for instance, my work is actually known for being very condensed. But what happened here on this left page was that Vincent challenged me, like, Guido, can you fit all the characters of the alphabet into 1 page? And squeezing them all in. So I took the challenge and I tried, and
we also started to understand for ourselves better that if you are playing a game, you are basically becoming a child again, or staying like a child again, and a child is exploring the boundaries of the playground all the time. And this is what we are very interested in, like what are the boundaries of a letter form, a shape, or the alphabet. And by exploring boundaries, I think you get a better understanding of what the actual matter is.
So all of these images are alphabets in the end. Sometimes there is a single character missing or something, but in the end it's all alphabets. And everything can happen, because that's just a parameter, a way to work, a method, the alphabet, and from there we just try to challenge and break the boundaries. Oh.
Yeah, and so that is one part of what we are doing, is creating these kind of studio albums. I really like the metaphor of the jazz band, talking that language, and of course, as a band, we also perform. And yeah, I think these studio albums are very important for the moments that we need to perform, because if you perform, there is not so much time to make more than 200 alphabets and just select a few, but you want to be immediately on point. So the performance comes with some other challenges. And for instance, we were 2 years ago invited to perform on Berlin Letters Festival. And on that festival, we took one game, the Cadaver Exquis, as a starting point in order to make a performance in where we combined both the playful element and or actually the playful element was maybe even the base of all of this. And here you see a picture of the three of us. What were we doing here?
Yeah, it looks funny.
Yeah.
Well, I think at this point we were all just working on a game. Every one of us got, let's say, specific rules to write, to do some calligraphy live on stage, and then people could vote which one of the works we just made was better or more according to the rules, let's say. And then this was the result, and of course a lot of fun. Yeah. What else? We did a performance here in Terreno.
Also 2 years ago?
Yeah, it was. Me and Hans, kind of like we're doing now, but then with an audience in real life, and a beer on my side. Yeah, what else? We also want to share some assignments we worked on. This is, I think, a really big one. With this wall painting, we worked together with a poet from Rotterdam, and we made this poem he made for us on this big wall.
Yeah, and I think if you would connect it to the metaphor, then maybe this is the score for a film or something, that you make the music for a film. So something already exists, the poem was there, but then the challenge is to visualize it, and then this came out.
This is an art installation we did quite recently, last November. We worked together with a spoken word artist who made an audio album as a musician, both as a musician and as a poet. And Hans and I were involved in this project, and we made a labyrinth of calligraphy where you can experience the audio and the story at the same time as you are experiencing the calligraphy and the letter shapes. And we are also here, we are on the same kind of challenge like you can see in the scene. So we are balancing between between the scope of legibility and experience, so reading and feeling, and the audio goes very well with it, but this is something that you actually have to experience yourself on a headphones walking through the labyrinth, and it's quite hard to capture in one photograph, obviously, but at least here you can see what we did.
Yeah, and then the last thing that we also want to talk a little bit about is the organization of festivals, because of course We, as the jazz band, really like to play together, but it's also interesting to invite others and to combine them all in an intense moment of actually 2 days. We did it 2 times, 2017 and 18. And then you have the speakers from all over, and there is an audience. And the second edition, we also really focused on the interaction with the audience and making a lot of space for them to create. So it became actually one big jam session with some bands playing, but then also the audience could all be involved and share knowledge and share interest and share information and joy. And that is what you see here.
All right, let's continue with the next part of the presentation. Because you're not only here for just us talking about the stuff we've done, we're here to make stuff live. So everything we're explaining you about having a playground is something we want to demonstrate. So Hans, what are we going to do?
Yeah, what we're going to do is to first talk a little bit more about how we actually understand High on Type as a playground, because now hopefully you understand a bit how we understand the collective through the metaphor of jazz band, and the idea of the collective also as or us playing in a playground. We take that metaphor quite literally, in the sense that we can also talk about the playground in the way that you know the playground. Because imagine a playground, it is full with all kind of equipment. On one hand, there is on one side there's a slide, on the other side there's a swing, and you, as the one that is going to play in that playground, you invent the rules all together, and it only gets interesting when you use some creativity, because you can just go from the slide and you can do that 30 times, but then at some point it's getting a bit boring. So what you can also do as a designer or as an artist, design your own equipment of the playground, so you can actually change the slide or rebuild it or flip it upside down. And that is what we also did with some existing games. We took them and then we reshaped them, and we started to play. And what is interesting is that we figured out that during playing is that there are some qualities that also brings us together that are important to be able to play. And a very important one is, for instance, vulnerability, because if you don't put yourself vulnerable in the game, then you will continue always doing the same thing, and you have to be open to also change that and to get pushed by the other to do something you didn't maybe want to do or didn't expect to do this day. And then there is an important part which talks about allowing ugliness in your results, because if you're only willing to make the best trick or making the most beautiful work, then it's also already quite much a framework, but you have to be able to allow the ugliness to also come with interesting results. And the last one, but maybe a very important one, is you have to understand that game is not a sport, and that it is not about competition, but that it is always about playing the game. And what we, for instance, did, what you just saw in the Berlin Letters performance, there we did add the voting system. So at some point there was actually a winner, but in the moments that we talk about it, we don't talk anymore about who was winning or not, because it was not about that. We added it, but it was very much about the game and about playing. And then you, of course, have all kind of other qualities that are also very important to play the game, which are imagination and creativity and playfulness, which we understand as the art of being able to enjoy also the game. And with all these qualities and shared interest, we come together and we play a lot. And one of the games that we play is the Cadaver X Key, which Guido is going to show a little bit from. And it's a game that already exists since the serialists. They play this a lot, but we changed the rules a little bit because we want to talk about type. Maybe you can already read it. And what you do simply is that you draw one of us draws the top part, the other is not looking.
So I just drew this, the top part, and then I gave it to Hans. And then what Hans had to do was to connect all these parts to his drawing, and then Hans made this.
And the top part is folded, so I don't see it.
Yeah, of course, without seeing it. And then you do the revelation together, because that's the most fun. And then this work is made. I can't see it. And then I think this is a good example of embracing the ugliness, even though it's still quite funky. But for instance, this, it's mirrored. This you would never do normally, but it always results in interesting letter forms. So we strongly believe that this is not only a fun game to play while drinking beer, but it's also really interesting for challenging yourself, coming up with new stuff.
Be surprised.
Yeah, be surprised. So, so this is a good example of a game, but playing these games, of course, it's super nice and fun. But what do we actually do with it? I hear you think. So I want before we continue, I want to show you one example of where we played this game in really big assignment. So which I will show you right now. So, for instance, I don't know if you see the cursor. No, it's not visible. The guy on the ladder, that's Vincent, and he is standing in front of the lowercase a. And I think this shows very well the moment we played the Exquisite Corpse or Cadaver Exquis game. And the game was here to make a lowercase letter on the top part and an uppercase letter on the bottom part, and then still connect them together so you can read it. So even though Vincent is standing a little bit in the way with his letter, I hope you can see it there. So yeah, I think that's just a good example of playing a game on a small little piece of paper and then translate it into a real work, a big one in this case.
Yeah.
All right, without further ado, we're going to play another game. And therefore, I need to show you this view. Yeah, hello.
You first want to show the Untitled cooker, so they understand the rules?
That's a smart thing, huh?
It was in your presentation.
Oh. But then still...
Yeah, because the second game, it goes, it follows the same principles as the first game, in the sense that we just copied the game that was existing. I guess we have some type enthusiasts in our audience, so probably you know the type cooker. The type cooker is a game that gives you variables, and these variables, you have to translate them into a type design. We as calligraphers also wanted to play this, but for us it was important to change some of these variables and think about the playful way to actually start playing. So what you see now on the screen is that there are 7 different variables that we can roll the dice for. So the construction, weight, width, and so forth. And on the top you see the eyes of the dice. And depending where the dice finishes, it tells you which variables you have to integrate into the calligraphy. And this is the game we're going to play. We have this high-on-type cooker aside of us. We will roll the dice, write down the variables on the paper, and then write the word with these variables, and thereby give you some insight in how the game works for us.
Okay. So here's the dice. Let's roll it for the first round.
Yeah, and I think for the first round it's good that we just play with the 2 variables, and then we will build up in the amount of variables to make it more and more intense.
Yeah.
So let's roll for the construction.
5.
That means that you're gonna make a slanted word. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is smart. Vincent's writing down what the next one parameter is.
And for the next one, we're gonna go for the serif.
3.
3 means small serifs. Okay, let's just write the word play. Vincent, you're gonna write the word play in a slanted construction with small serifs.
Oké. Slanted, dat is die kant op.
Ja.
Well, it doesn't say back slanted.
Yeah, and it's not italic, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not italic. Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. Okay, so, but, yeah. But I can, okay, small serif, yeah. Okay. Play, you say, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's correct. You see a left-handed because it's Vincent. Oh, die pet hebben we zijn kop op. Oh, we do allow ugliness.
Okay, there comes the slant.
Okay.
Alright.
Hoe deed die Julien maken?
Hey, Guido, what do you think? Did he check the boxes?
Yeah, I think checking the boxes, small serifs, check. Slant is
Slightly.
Yeah, but this is a double story.
yeah. So I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good warm up. Let's call it a good warm up. So yeah, make it fancy. All right, Vincent, if you can put new paper on the table.
Are you going to play the next round, Guido?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright.
Yeah.
All right. Hans is going to roll the dice for me.
How many people are watching that?
I don't know. Maybe 0. Okay, let's roll for the weight. That's a 6. It's an ion type logo. Maybe people don't see it, but it means that you're gonna make the blackest.
Okay, that's.
Can you write that down?
Like,
Oh yeah. So super black.
Yeah, blackest. Okay, let's roll for the characteristics.
Number 1.
That means that you have to make a low contrast. Give it low contrast.
okay.
Okay, and then for a nice variable, we added a handicap. And
Number 2.
Number 2 means that everything has to be written in 1 line.
1 stroke. 1 line, 1 stroke. Is there a difference?
Yeah, you can choose. These are the variables for this round, and we give you the word right.
Okay. And I am allowed to just write with my right hand. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're gonna fit?
We'll see.
Never.
Moet ik even kleine tune opzetten? Okay, Guido changed brush. Yeah.
Yeah.
Change the brush.
Okay, super
Check it
black.
now. Super black. Low contrast, so just slightly bit, and one
And one
stroke. Okay.
Dit kan een beetje. Wat doe je?
Yeah, you can make it black as long as you continue in one stroke.
Yes, I figured.
Nice. It's gonna be a party there.
Yeah.
And how do you think about the dot on the eye?
I don't think.
That's not true.
Cyrillics.
Yeah, that's a break of the one stroke.
Yeah.
Little zoomer.
Yeah, but what you said was one line, and it's
Yeah.
it's still one line.
Yeah,
So
true.
so
Free
I
interpretation
think
of the rules,
I think I'm okay here. But the dot on the eye,
Just go there from there on.
and then the little contrast comes. So my idea was that the whole image is not really contrastful. There's no contrast. So here, this is like compensational contrast.
And then all with all you
Yeah.
have a little bit contrast.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, I like the words.
But it could be blacker, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. For the blackest. But you see, okay, it's getting more difficult with 3 variables. Maybe we can play around with 4.
Okay.
Shall I put myself there?
Yeah. Hans, you roll the dice for construction.
Okay. I'm gonna roll 6.
So that's backslanted.
Backslanted.
Then you roll the dice for width. 2. That makes compressed.
Okay.
Then you roll the dice for the serif.
5.
Rounded serif.
Rounded serif.
Yeah. And then you roll the dice for handicap.
Oh. It's already quite difficult. If I get a crazy handicap, I'm gonna 5
Wait.
in the bottom.
Unconventional writing tool.
Okay. Unconventional tool. Well, we have some toilet paper here.
Okay.
A backslanted, compressed, rounded serif, unconventional writing tool. Can you give me a word?
Hi.
Hi. Okay. You guys didn't do it, but I think I'm gonna need a baseline and backslanted, compressed, rounded serif with this thing.
Okay, but okay, let's go.
Compressed.
Hmm. Wow, sweet.
I like it. So you're mimicking my idea now.
Yeah. I learned by watching.
I like it, but I don't think it's very compressed
Yeah.
because of the ascenders.
Yeah, I had to maybe make the X, the baseline and the X height higher. And
Or this a bit low.
yeah.
But okay.
Yeah.
All right. We're warmed up now.
My tool?
Yeah, I like
Yeah,
your tool. It's
very-
perfect. Let's put Vincent on the spot for one last game.
Okay.
Yeah.
The last one already?
Yeah, he only did or yeah, maybe some more.
Yeah, well, we quite have some time. Until 45, no?
Yeah.
7 minutes. Let's play a bit more. I like it.
All right.
Can you roll for the weight, Vincent?
2.
That means light. And the characteristics?
6.
That means turning the brush.
Turning.
Yeah.
He likes that.
And which construction?
4.
Italic capitals.
Oh.
Yes. And then let's add an handicap, no?
Yeah, for sure.
Wow. 5.
That was the same as me. An unconventional writing tool.
Oh.
Is there,
He doesn't sound so motivated. Okay, Vincent is in the meantime searching for an
or
unconventional writing tool.
let's just say that he has to write with his right hand.
That's also
Yeah.
nice.
Let's do
let's
that.
make it right.
Okay. Normally, this is my hand to write, and now I will write with this one. Okay, I will take a small brush.
Okay, and let's take the word rules. What do you think, Guido? That he has to follow the rules in the last round. Or finish. Oof, that's a nice
Finish.
Finish.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Okay,
All right.
light, turning, italic caps.
Good luck.
Okay. I will.
Is he allowed to use the pencil with his left hand?
This is for the cap height. Italic caps. Oh, that's going this way. And what should I write?
Finish.
Okay. So capital F, italic.
Don't forget to turn the brush.
What else did he do?
Oh, and it's light also.
Okay.
You're quite good with your wrong hand, huh? That's
Yeah.
terrible to see.
He's still doing this better than I would do.
Okay.
Guido, do you think how much he is turning the brush?
Yeah, quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I already see 4 directions. You see in the curl on the left side?
Yeah.
This is nice to be a live commentator.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like a match, you know. All right, and now he's going up. He's going for the turn now.
You think he's gonna fit?
No.
Vincent's good at fitting, huh?
Fit. Niche. Okay, so N.
Yeah, just one N is enough. Else you talk about the Finnish people.
Okay, I turn it.
Jokes don't get worse.
Okay, and then I want something special. Extra turning.
Extra turning. Okay. Vincent goes for the plus points. And I'll remember, this is the wrong hand.
Turning. See?
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
Great. Okay.
Okay.
It's a bit cracky, but
We like it like that.
ISH. No. Yeah. Need some space here.
Still working from bottom to top, because he's used to that as a left-hander.
Yeah.
You see?
Turning.
Okay.
Turning. Okay.
It's more like a J, but
Yeah, but for the italic capitals, we've seen this before. The S.
Capital
Let's see
S.
where he's gonna bring that.
Oh, nu staat het nog.
I have the feeling he is losing the italic vibes.
All right, last letter, and then we're going to the questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
I assume that there are quite some questions after this one. Are you the real Vincent, for instance?
Okay, yeah. I see what you're doing there.
Turning. Klaar.
Yeah, all right.
Quite a good job, Vincent. For a wrong-handed light italic capital finish,
Turning.
I would call it a proper finish.
All right, guys. I think I hope the audience actually got a good sense of how this playground is for us. So let's switch back to our normal camera.
Yeah, and so I think it's about time to go to the question round, but we could play this forever.
Yeah.
So let's continue a bit after this.
So we wanted to give you the opportunity to ask some questions, and I heard that there's already a few questions coming from the audience. So let's switch to that. How does that work? Yeah. All right.
Can you can see me now, right?
Yes, sure. How did you like the playing the games, Ksenia?
Yes, it was really nice, especially the last one. I'm not sure if I can do anything similar with my right hand, and well, that definitely shows how good your skills are in improvisation. We have a couple of questions, and the first there are two very similar ones. So we thought maybe the one by Paul would be the one we would ask. So, are you working freely, or are you working from some basic styles or rules and refine that styles?
Now or
I think in general.
in general?
I think in general, because those questions they came just after your presentation. So.
Yeah, I think it is very important to understand that that's also something that we all have in common, or that we share, that we understand if you really want to play and be able to play, that you first need to understand the principles and rules. So we all spent quite some years on practicing that, and then from there on and also change the rules or consciously say no to the rules, and then it becomes more free, but it always relates to the conventions. And so, yeah, the word free is a bit difficult in that sense, because, yeah, how free is it if you have all this information of all the conventions and the rules, you constantly or refer to it or consciously break it. So I think, yeah, that's how I understand it.
Yeah, and also what might also make it understandable is that if you break rules or conventions, in some way you also feel connected to craftsmen of other centuries. So is it a total freedom, or is it not? I think any process will give you a different feeling in this, but it is in the end a very nice feeling to be connected to craftsmen from other centuries, and that you allow yourself to break conventions at some point. It is, in a way, you are your own ruler and your own student. So you are the one who's writing the rules, and you are also the one who's breaking them. But if you wouldn't write the rules first, you also couldn't break them.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Paul, for your question.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Paul. Thank you, guys. And there is another one. What was the experience working with different artists during the Windows to the World event?
That was an event for the people in the audience. It was an event taking place last December in Eindhoven, a city in the Netherlands, and there we worked with almost 30 or 40 different letter makers around the city. We were actually not really involved in all the other works.
No, because it wasn't spread over the city.
Yeah, so it's always good to be in good contact with the people, other letter enthusiasts, other makers in your city, in your country, in the world in general. So I think that's really nice, meeting new people, or just doing making work with people you already know. And it's always good to exchange ideas, to exchange thoughts, and of course it's a lot of fun to be with more people. Yeah, so that was a nice event.
Yeah, and what I also experienced there is because there were all kind of artists invited to paint windows, and then you see that there are people from all kind of different disciplines. Some are more coming from illustration. There were some real diehard sign painters, and then we come with the calligraphic approach. And that is also interesting to see if you combine different approaches into one weekend, that it also makes, at least for me or us, understand our own position better in that context. So yeah, that was my experience of that weekend.
Yeah. All right, thanks, Aaron.
Okay, one more question coming, the last one, from Sam. What is the project you are most proud of? That one is a difficult one.
Hey, that's I know him. Where I'm most proud of, or from High on Type?
We can all answer it.
I think the thing I'm most proud of with High on Type is not specifically a project, but more the determined way of how we're approaching a project. And for instance, the zines we made, that really puts us on the spot, that we have to make as much as alphabets as possible in 7 days, doing nothing else than only drawing, writing. There I'm super proud of, because then the energy is the highest, and that's what I enjoy the most, and also what I'm the most proud of. Vincent?
Yeah, it's hard to say, but because usually when you finish a project, like, it's more like being proud is, I don't know, it doesn't last always as long as, but it's but the first thing that comes to my mind is the Stroke, the film that I made, and it was not a high on type project. It was an individual project that I've been working on for many years, but it was also quite a revelation for me to have Hans by my side as like a solid rock that he is in the process, and it was kind of working together, not as a high on type, but as a team. For me, confirmation of that all the years of collaborating also pays off in a way that you don't need time. There's no waste of time anymore, because you are so much connected with each other, and that is obviously I think something that we benefit from as being a team for so long, and then you can skip already such a large part of the project, because you're right into it. You understand each word that you're saying to each other. You don't even have to mention stuff, and so I think that makes me proud. So it's not per se about a project, but it's more like a work ethic.
Yeah, I had some time to think about my answer, and I would like to answer that I understand High on Type, the collective itself, also as a project, because we found each other a couple of years ago. We are doing all kind of things, and yeah, in general, I have some difficulties with really understanding the word pride or proudness and what it means, or what kind of feeling it is attached to. But at least I can say that I am super happy that I am with these guys in a big project called High on Type, and I also feel that it already brought us a lot, and it's gonna bring us even more probably. And yeah, I would like to answer that question with the High on Type project in general.
Thanks, Sam, for your question, and thanks for listening, by the way.
Thank you so much for answering. That was a great answer as well. I think that especially by working with you guys, we could really feel the collaborative approach of your team. And I personally remember that with Guido once, he was telling me about the kind of a traveling notebook that you are working on currently. I don't know if I made a spoiler or something, but that was a very inspiring project, well, for me, of yours, because I think it's really something that shows how you approach work in general, and that you always compare your work with the others, and you always want to find the best way and for it to appear, for it to be shown to the public. So
nice. It was a bit of a spoiler, actually, but that's good. Yeah, there's things coming.
Well, you can tell that was a personal project.
Yeah, but that's nice. Thanks.
Yeah, it's good for this audience. Now you all know that there is something coming.
Yeah, only the attendees of this event will know about this project. So.
But that's good. That's good.
Okay. Thank you so much, and let's hope that we will meet you soon in Turin. As you mentioned during the presentation, Hans and Guido, they have managed to come during the 5th edition of the festival in 2019. So we really hoped it would be possible for them to travel on this occasion, on the occasion of Eyes on the Netherlands as well. But unfortunately, this couldn't happen. But I'm pretty sure that there will be a future collaboration, and many coming with you, as you are a brilliant collective and a brilliant team of people and working together.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the kind words. Yeah, what can we say? Just thank you for the invitation. We really liked sharing our thoughts with you and the audience, and of course we really would like to come to Torino another time. We definitely will. Do that.
I really missed seeing the audience, but I hope the people who visited this or watched this, they enjoyed, and also hopefully we can talk to you in the next graphic days in where we can physically be present.
Yeah.
Great. And for those of you who are actually nearby, who maybe live in Italy or in Turin even, we invite you all to come and visit the exhibitions and the exhibition itinerary mostly that we have here on show until the 30th of May. So the festival hours can be consulted on our website, and we invite you to follow the upcoming online events with some of the most significant and important Dutch design professionals and artists. And it's all for today, and thank you for tuning in, and see you soon on Graphic Days Eyes on the Netherlands.
Doei!
Bye bye. Doei doei.